So good morning, everybody. So let us continue the class what we left. Yesterday I said you to keep always a notebook with you and note down the important points what we discuss here, and your free time, afternoon time or morning time, whenever you are free, just revise the important points. Okay, you are ready? We'll start the class. So we are discussing the topic force. Yesterday we said the definition of force. What is force? We studied yesterday. Force is a push or pull on an object. Simple definition what we studied is it is a push or pull on an object. And I asked you to write five examples for pushing force and pulling force. From your daily life you can write. Still some children will be having the doubt about what is push and what is a pull. In name of force I am saying here. That is what I asked you to write five examples. Again I asked you to write 5 examples for contact forces, that is muscular force, like that. Now once more let us recall what is the definition of a force. A force is a push or pull on an object. Again we said a force can change the shape of an object. If you apply pressure, a force, slightly we can change the shape of an object, depends upon the nature of the object. And a force is required to create a motion on an object which is at rest. So an object is at rest unless you apply a force, it continues its state of rest. So you need to apply a force on an object which is at rest to make a movement on the object. Same time, a force can increase or decrease the speed of an object. Yes, force can increase or decrease the velocity or speed of an object. A force is required to stop a moving object. Force is required to create motion. Force is also required to stop a moving object. These all are the uses or definitions of force. Still there are other definitions which we study in our higher classes. Now simple definition, what is a force? If the question comes, you are asking, you are writing. Not heard. First it was audible now. Hello? Voice audible, madam? Okay. Now, we discuss the types of forces. We can divide this one as contact force and force at a distance or non-contact force. It is also called field force or contact force, non-contact force or field force or force at a distance. This all are same. Examples we wrote yesterday, we studied yesterday. Contact force example 1. Muscular force Another one is friction. Another one is normal force. Another one is tension. Type of contact forces. Contact forces, let us write. Type.
Can you please explain the
Hello? Please ask your doubt, Renu.
Sir, can you please tell the definition of force?
Force definition now?
Again.
Okay, right. Can you hear and write, or shall I write on the board? I'll write on the board. You can see and write, okay? So we can write, define a force is a push or pull. It is a simple definition I am saying. A force is a push or pull. Now, what are others? A force can change the shape, of an object. Or a force may change. Always, a force cannot change. It depends upon the nature of the object. And a force can create motion on an object which is at rest. These are the uses of force also we can see. So here numbers we can give. It is the definition. A force is a push or pull. And what are the uses? Uses. First one, a force can change the shape of an object. Another use, a force can create motion on an object which is at rest. And a force is required to create motion. Next one. Yashwant. Yashwant, please ask your doubt.
Sir, side please.
Yes.
Side please, sir.
Okay, I will give you after writing, I will move, okay?
Okay, sir.
It is not completed because I stopped at the now. A force can create motion on an object which is at rest.
No.
A force can increase or decrease the speed of a moving object.
Sir, can you explain them another time, sir? I have missed the class, sir.
Once more, you missed yesterday's class, huh?
Yesterday's class, not sir. Net is not currently
This
available.
is only yesterday I explained. Again, I am explaining the same, okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay, this is only I explained again. Otherwise, we will send you the recorded class of yesterday's, okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay, I'll move from this one. Before that, I'll read once because writing, if any problem is once, just check. What are the uses of force? A force can change the shape of an object. A force can create motion on an object which is at rest. A force can increase or decrease the speed or velocity of a moving object. To increase or decrease the speed, we need to apply a force, and a force can change the direction of motion of an object. And the last one is a force is required to stop a moving object. To create motion, force is required. At the same time, when you require to stop a moving object, you have to give or apply a force. So these are the 5 points. A force can change the shape of an object. A force can create motion on an object which is at rest. A force can increase or decrease the speed of a moving object. A force can change the direction of motion. It is required to stop. Okay, please note. Obviously.
Can you tell definition of muscular force, sir? Once again.
You completed in this one writing here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, wait, I am coming to that. Next question is there. What is it? Okay. So now let us see again once more the type of forces. One we said already. Contact force, and another one is field forces. Field forces is otherwise called non-contact forces or forces at a distance. Forces. If you already wrote it, then you need to write it again. One time only you write. There are non-contact forces. First, see contact force. What is the definition? The force exerted on an object by direct contact. When I hold something, when I hold this chalk piece, so I directly apply a force on it. Such direct contact between two bodies, that is called what? Contact forces. In that example, we were writing, that is, first one is muscular force. Muscular force is the force exerted by body muscles. The force exerted by body muscles. So body muscles means there is a contact force, but directly you have to push it or pull it or carry it or apply some forces. That is called what? Muscular forces. Generally, forces are exerted by human beings. We exert a force with our hand or leg or head, whatever it is, that is called muscular force. So when we smile, we use our muscles. When we write, we use our hand. So everything that all such forces are called muscular force. So animals also, they exert muscular force. This is what I said you should write examples. I am not writing here example. Yesterday I said you to write example, 5 examples for. You can write like this: number 1 examples, muscular force. Examples 1, 2, what is 1, 2, 3. All this we check after the everyday's class. What the homework we are giving, we will check it after the reopening. So first example, writing we use muscular force only. Carrying a ball, we use muscular force. So like that, 5 different examples you have to write for muscular force. Bhavyasri. Siri, Bhavyasri. Are you unmuting? Ah, yes. Not possible, I can't. I should do it. Dinesh.
Sir, can you tell definition of each forces, sir?
Definition of?
Definition of muscular force, sir.
Yes, the force. Simple definition: the force exerted by body muscles.
Sir?
BODY, body muscles. The force exerted by body muscles is called muscular force.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Examples you can write now?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Writing. Okay. So like that, 5 different examples you have to write. And the second one what we studied is what? Yesterday. Frictional force, or simply friction. Friction is also a contact forces. Friction happens only when 2 objects are in contact. So do you remember the definition of friction? Friction is the force which opposes the relative motion of 2 objects. It is an opposing force. So when we throw this chalk piece, it will not travel continuously. After a certain time, it stops. That is because of the friction of the air or atmosphere. So what is friction? What is friction? Friction is the force which opposes the relative motion of 2 objects by their surface contact. Madhav. Is Madam Mike. Madhav Mike. Renusri.
Sir, can you please tell it in a simple way, sir? Frictional force.
Frictional force in simple way, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The force. You are writing here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. The force which opposes means sort of which stops or which prevents. Which opposes the relative motion. Only 4 or 5 words. The relative motion of 2 objects.
Sir? Can you
Or-
write the
Okay, right.
I'm asking that can you write the definition of friction force on board, sir?
I am writing. Yes, see. Force which opposes the relative motion of two objects. Here, relative motion means the motion with respect to other. So when one object moves on other surface or moves in air, then we consider these two objects, air and the object. When you roll a coin on the floor and the coin. When you ride your bicycle, so the tire and the rod, that is the meaning of the relative motion. Here we consider only the tire and the rod. So the motion of the cycle or cycle wheel, motion of the cycle wheel with respect to the rod, that is the meaning of relative motion. The remaining all tensors. Suppose this means what of which stops. So the force which stops, no need to stop. That is what we use this word opposes, because if the friction is not, the force is not sufficient, it will not stop, but it prevents. It reduces the speed. The relative motion, the meaning you understood of two objects is called what? A frictional force. So today again I am giving you one home assignment, one small worker. You should write 5 examples where we use friction. Bala. Okay. Bala.
Sir, what is the definition of relative motion, sir?
Creative motion, not relative motion.
Yes, sir, relative motion.
Okay, relative motion, that is what I said. Suppose you imagine that you are riding your bicycle. So here we consider, here so many motions we can say, the motion of the cycle, motion of the person, but here when friction comes, what two objects are in contact? The wheel of the cycle and the rod. We consider these two. So here the cycle is stopped by the friction of the rod. Understand it?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Side.
Sir,
Yes, I can hear you.
you told that you told that air resistance is also there in contact force, no, sir?
Yes.
Then you didn't wrote that one, sir.
No, I did not write all that. They are, what are they? Air resistance is an example. Okay.
Yes, sir.
It is a kind of frictional force. I wrote the definition of what is friction. So like that, frictional force, so many examples you can say. Air resistance is a kind of frictional force. So what is friction means,
Yes,
don't write air resistance. Air resistance is an example. Understand the difference?
Yes, sir.
This is what is friction. If the question is what is friction, then we will write this definition. What is air resistance? It is a kind of frictional force. Give an example for frictional force. We can say air
Yes,
resistance. Understand now the difference?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So today, what is
Thanks.
your work for all the children? You are writing. You have a notebook with you. So today, you should write here friction force. Yesterday also, actually, we said the same topic only. We could not proceed that. So what you have to today write is use of friction. What today you are for uses of friction. You write a side heading. I'll explain what to write. Uses of friction. Again, one. For example, you say I am standing here. If this floor is very smooth, I cannot move. When I move, I skid. So friction is necessary to stand here. Without friction, I cannot stand here. You already experienced it. When the floor contains water, marble floor or tiled floor contains water or oil or soap or anything, we skid, we fall down because the absence of friction. So friction is required to stand. Friction is required to walk. If friction is not there, I cannot hold this chalk piece because of the friction. See, here the contact force you can understand because the friction between my fingers and this chalk piece. If it is very smooth, when you hold, when you carry one glass which is wet, you can see it is keep. So without friction, you cannot hold a glass and drink it. So for drinking, or to hold a glass, to walk, to ride, everything what is required, friction is required. So friction is not there, you can't ride your cycle because whenever you apply brake, it will not stop. Again, it is skid. So friction is very much useful in our life. It has also defect. The defect tomorrow class we will discuss. So today we discuss only about what are the uses or advantages of friction. So friction is the force which opposes the relative motion of two objects, and examples of friction said. And what is your work today? What the work I am going to give you is just from your life. You just want to look around it. You can find many examples where we directly use friction. Friction is not there. We are unable to walk. Gopal, please ask your doubt. Gopal.
Can you tell the definition of contact force, please?
Contact force definition. The force excited by
Your voice is not audible, sir.
My voice is not audible. Yes. I think you keep your phone volume, phone in call or volume you keep my or maximum. Yes. Okay, next Pavisri again you
Can
have
you write on the board?
Okay, anyway, I think you can see.
Can you write on the board?
The force excited between two objects by a direct contact, means by touching each other, by a direct contact is called contact force. Very simple definition I am giving you. The force excited between or excited by an object to another object. So between two objects by a direct contact is called contact forces. So okay, children. So today the simple homework I gave you, don't forget to write it. 5 examples for frictional force which is useful in our daily life. Number 1, number 2. Simple, you need not to explain so much, just to write, to walk. So already 2, 3, 4, 5 we said already in the class. If possible, you try to write other examples than what we discussed. If you are not getting, at least write this one. So now NS class will continue.
గుడ్ మార్నింగ్ ఆల్ చిల్డ్రన్. ఇంకా చాలా మంది రీనేమ్ చేసుకోకుండా ఎంటర్ అయిపోతున్నారు. నెక్స్ట్ క్లాస్ నుంచి రీనేమ్ చేయకుండా మన గ్రూప్ లో ఏదైతే నేమ్ ఇచ్చారో మీ బ్రాంచ్ కి అలా ఎంటర్ అయితే కనుక రిమూవ్ చేసేస్తాము. క్లాస్ కి అలౌ చెయ్యము. మీరు రీనేమ్ చేసుకోకపోతే ఎవరు అడుగుతున్నారో డౌట్ తెలియటంలా. గెలాక్సీ 012 అంటే నేను ఏమని చెప్పను పేరు. సో మీరు రీనేమ్ చేసుకుని జాయిన్ అవ్వండి క్లాస్ లో. ఓకే చిల్డ్రన్.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope all are safe at your homes. I am Virendra, faculty in biology in Pragati English Medium Schools. Today, let us talk about basic biology topic. So, here, the word biology. It is a branch of science. It is a branch of science which is dealing with life. Is dealing with life. Biology, it is a word which comes from the two Greek words called bios and logos. Bios and logos. Here the word bios, which can representing that life. And another Greek word that is logos, which can representing about study. So biology means study of life. Biology means study of life. So that biology is a branch of science dealing with living organisms or alive. So it is a branch of science dealing with living organisms which contains life. The organism which contains life. So biology means is a branch of science which dealing with living organisms. It is a study of life. Study of life. A clear instruction for you children. Please maintain separate book for biology and note down all these important concepts. These are very, very important basics which are helpful for other studies also. Please note down this one. Biology is a branch of science dealing with living organisms. Here the living organisms. Why we are saying that living organism? Why we are not saying that non-living organisms? Living organism, it can show the one of the living character called sustainability. That means life on the earth, isn't it? Because of that reason we are using living organisms. Living organisms. So that biology means study of life. Next, here we written that living organisms. Living organisms. What are the living organisms? In my hand, duster, and this is the piece of chalk. Is these two things are living things? No, these are not the living things. Am I a living thing? You are a living thing? Yes, we both are living things. Why? Because we are representing some living characters. We are moving, we are holding the things, isn't it? So we have living characters so that we have life. So biology, it is a study of living organisms and living characters. Living characters. Those who are study living things, those who are study living things, those scientists are called biologists. Those scientists are called biologists. Biologist who studies about living organisms, who studies about living organisms. Living organisms. Who studies about living organisms? Those are called biologists. The scientist who studies about living organisms. Biologist who studies about living organisms. Let us see what are the living characters. For example, every cell in the body can perform different types of functions in living organisms. That process generally we call it as metabolism. So metabolism is the one of the living character of the different types of organisms. For example, organisms, whether it is a unicellular or multicellular, I'm using a new word, unicellular and multicellular. Unicellular and next multicellular. Living organisms are divided into two categories. First one is unicellular organisms. Second one is multicellular organism. Unicellularity, multicellularity. Here, uni means single. Uni means one, only one. Uni means single or one-celled organism. One cell. Again, I'm using a new word, cell. Every organism is composed with cells. Every organism composed with cells. So, the organism which is having a single cell, those organisms generally we call it as unicellular organisms. Unicellular organisms. So uni means single or one-celled organisms. Here, one-celled organisms examples are amoeba. Amoeba. So amoeba is a single cell organism. It doesn't have definite shape. Doesn't have definite shape. Shapeless organism. Amoeba, which contains some molecules inside the body. So this is called unicellular organism. This is called unicellular organism, amoeba.
Voice disturbance.
Unicellular organisms, multicellular organisms we discussed. Unicellular means single celled organisms. Here, second one, multicellularity. So multicellularity or multicellular organisms. So multi means many. Many cells are present in this particular organisms. Many cells are present in this particular organisms. Example for multicellular organisms are humans, animals, and trees. So these are the best examples for multicellular organisms. These are the best examples for multicellular organisms. See here, unicellularity, multicellularity is the basic characters of the living organisms. So, basing on the living character, we are dividing living and non-living substances or living and non-living things. That particular living things, basing on the organization, I'm using a new word, organization. So basing on the organization of the cells, again these are divided into unicellular and multicellular organisms. Unicellular, multicellular organisms. Let us see organization of living organisms. What is the structural and functional components present in the living organisms? Organization or composition of living organisms. How living organisms are composed? How these living organisms are prepared? Let us see composition of living organisms. Every living organism composed with cells. The cell is composed of different types of molecules. These particular molecules are composed of atoms, small atoms. Small atoms are combined to form molecule. These molecules are combined to form a cell. Combined to form a cell. So here this cell is the basic unit of all living organisms. Cell is the basic unit of all living organisms. So this particular cell is composed of molecules. These molecules are composed of atoms. So a living organism composed of this type of organization. We move on to see after cell. Cell Generally, the structure of the cell, living cell, the living organisms composed of cell, this particular cell contains a membrane. This is called outer membrane. This is called outer membrane. Outer membrane, and inside the cell which is having nucleus, cell which is contains outer boundary called membrane or plasma membrane. In this particular cell which is having nucleus and liquid portion called cytoplasm, which is having cytoplasm. So this type of cells are combined to form, this type of many cells combined to form, structurally their cells are similar. For example, an organism composed with cells, the cells here, the group of cells combine to form another organization that is nothing but tissue. Group of cells, this type of cells, these are the cells, for example, minute structures I'm drawing here. This particular group of cells combine to form a tissue. So tissue which contains group of cells. Tissue which contains group of cells. So group of cells here, these are the group of cells combined to form a tissue. Again, the group of tissues are furtherly composed to form a group of tissues composed to form organs. For example, the organization related to animal organs, generally we can say organs like ear, eyes, or kidneys. See here the structure of kidney, ear, or forelimbs and hind limbs. Yes, Renusri.
Sir, your voice is not clear, sir. It is not audible.
Okay. I think a network problem, Nana. One secure network.
Okay, sir.
And Renuka. Manu.
Sir, you said that group of sir.
Yes.
Sir, you said that group of cells, no sir.
Yes.
Can you explain again, sir?
Okay, Nana. Okay, I will explain again. Next, Gopal.
Your voice.
Please check your network.
Okay.
Please check your network. Anjana
It's
Sai.
okay, sir.
Yes. Yes, Gopal.
My network is okay, sir.
Okay, what is your doubt? Do you
Your
have any doubt?
is tracking.
Surya Prakash. Okay. Look at here. cell is a basic unit. Group of cells are combined to form next level of organization, that is about tissue. Group of cells combined to form tissues. I am representing here single cell. I am representing here single cell. So here this single cell which is having these type of parts. These are the parts I am drawn here. So this is the single structure. This type of cells are combined to form tissues. See here, these type of cells they are grouped into a tissue. These type of cells are combined to form tissue. These particular tissues are the another level of organization. These particular tissues are combined, these type of tissues are combined to form different types of organs. For example, it is an animal body. Ear, eye, kidney, it is a system generally. Kidneys, heart. So these are the organs present in the living organism, isn't it? So this type of organs are composed to form organ systems. Organ system or organ systems. Organ system or organ systems. So group of organs are combined to form organ systems. So what are the systems which are present in the living organisms? See, look at here the picture. These are the organs. Yes, Dinesh and Sudhir. Yes,
Sir,
Dinesh.
hormones are part of organs, sir.
Yes.
Hello, sir.
Hormones are part of organs, sir.
Hormones.
Yes, sir.
Hormones are the just a liquid portion which is released by organs. Those are not parts.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Yes, Sudhir.
Sir,
Yes.
you told that tissues are. Sorry, sir. Organisms are organism system, no, sir. Kidney examples. Once
Okay,
told.
I'll give you examples.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next, Anjana Sai.
Sir, can you explain about the cytoplasm which is present in the cell?
Okay, now I will explain again.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Look at here, organ systems. See, in composition of organs, in this composition of organs, here I am representing separate organs like ear, eye, kidneys, etc. So in this next level of organ systems are composed of organs with different types of systems, which is coordinated with different types of systems. Here, kidneys along with urinary bladder, this is called excretory system. Before that, I gave one example, kidneys, these are the kidneys, but the next level of organization, I gave excretory system is an example for organ systems. So we have different types of organ systems like excretory system, digestive system. You can hear this is the digestive system. Organ systems, here composed of different types of organs. Different types of organs I am representing here, organ systems, digestive system as well as respiratory system, excretory system, reproductive system, control and coordinating system, that is about nervous system. All these are the systems which are present in the living organisms. Next level of organization after organ systems, this group of organ systems are combined to form organism. Combined to form organism, whether it is a human being or an animal, which is composed of different types of systems. This particular organism basically composed of a microscopic structure called cell. Microscopic structure called cell. So this is the level of organization in the living organization. So level of organization in the living organisms. Let us see one representation. Look at here, children, what we discussed earlier, that is about biology. See, what is biology? Biology, it is a Greek word. Bio means life. Logos means to study or the study of living organisms. So biology means it is the study of life, the study of living things. Those who are study biology, the person or a scientist who called biologist. So biologist is a person who studies about biology. Let us see history of biology. Look at the screen, children. A brief history of biology. See here, the person Aristotle. Look at this picture. Aristotle. He is the father of biology. Father of biology. So, and also a Greek philosopher. First, who classified living things as to air, land, or water dwellers. So that is the reason why we consider this person as father of biology. And who is a father of modern biology, children? Charles Darwin. Charles Darwin is the father of modern biology. Look at here. So Charles Darwin wrote a book on the origin of species by means of natural selection. He separated different types of organisms and he gave best organization of the organism. So basing on these reasons, later he was considered as father of modern biology. Next, divisions of biology. What are the main divisions of biology? Here I gave only two, but actually three major divisions are there in biology. Let us see first two major divisions. Those are botany and zoology. Biology is divided into two categories. or two major divisions of biology. First one, botany, and second one, zoology. Here, botany is a study of plants. It is about study of plants. And the next one, zoology, the study of animals. Please note down, children. Here, one more major division is there, that is about microbiology. Another division that is about microbiology, the study of microorganisms. The study of microorganisms. Please note down, children. Third major division of biology, that is about microbiology, the study of microorganisms. The study of microorganisms. Okay, children. Next, let us see some more studies, some branches of biology. First one, anatomy. It is also one of the branch of biology. The study of structure of entire organism and their parts. It is a study of structure of entire organism and their parts are called anatomy. This is also one of the branch of biology. So the terminology is very, very important, children. Yes, Renuka.
Sir, what is meant by Antony's?
Anatomy.
Yes, sir.
So look at the screen once. See, human anatomy. Beside human anatomy is there, no? It tells us about entire parts of the human beings, internal structure of the human being. So the study of internal organs and their structure is nothing but anatomy. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay. Note down anatomy, the study of structure of entire organisms and their parts. Next. Next one, another study, one more branch of biology. That is about physiology. The study of how the body and its parts work. For example, I gave heart. Surya.
Hello, sir. Picture
Yes,
was
Surya.
not there, sir.
Yes.
Picture was not coming, sir.
Please wait. It is on the way. Please check your network.
It is okay, sir.
Okay. Next, another branch of biology, that is about physiology. So, the study of how the body and its parts work. Beside one picture is there. It is heart structure. So, it is a pumping unit of the human body. It is a pumping unit of the human body. So, basing on this particular study, we can observe how heart will works. Okay, children. So, basing on the physiology, we can study of how this particular organ will work in the human body. So that is about physiology. Okay, children. So remaining studies and further explanations are going to be taught in the next class. So I hope you enjoyed my class. We will meet in the next class. Thank you.